welcome to episode 20 for the Shop with CustomLowz live edition. Right now we're working on a box for two DC audio level 6 18s. If you got the last night's brief live stream we were working on this, but I had to end it shortly. We're back on it. I'm just gonna get started really. We're rounding up the corners. Basically the box is already built. Now I am just adding the final touches, routering the sides, putting some details on it, and we're going to start putting some wood filler in there, sanding it up, getting it ready for the stain. It's getting a true black stain on the outside, so with stain, you got to make sure you do some good sanding. So we're going to go through that whole process. Hopefully in this video we'll take you guys at least to the stain process. I think we can get that far pretty easily. Let me know if you guys are watching. Drop some comments in the chat. Let me know you're here. Alright, so one thing I'm having to take into consideration is the fact that the ports are literally touching the outside dimensions of the box itself. So definitely doesn't leave much room for routering. Now I am kind of considering also just really taking a big amount out and also going into the port, but I'm not sure if I really want to do that. So I'm going to leave it small. I'll flip the box around now with it small, see how it looks, and then go from there. And obviously you want to make sure it looks cool, but you got to consider stuff like that when it comes to it. The back of the box I did already. That does have a slightly bigger detail on it, or deeper detail on it. I'm using a 45 chamfer bit on this box. But that's just because I can fit it. So, I did it. So I'm only doing 3 sides at the bottom, and that's just because I don't want my bearing on the router bit to ride in front of this face because of the ports. It'll kind of give you some choppiness in your design on your router chamfer, whatever you'd like to call it. This thing is not the most fun to move around. Alright. I want to call it there. I don't want to go too much. I don't want to start taking off. You know, we still have the screw holes on the sides here for the ports. I have slightly considered possibly just skewing the screw holes, but I really like the way they're lined up and down, so we're gonna leave it. Now on to sanding and wood filling. I'm gonna try to work. I did quite a bit of it already. And the table, make it a little easier for me to work on. Troy, what is up, buddy? How's it going? Alright, let's see how I'm going to lift this big heavy ass thing. Bringing it down from the cart is not as big of a feat as lifting it onto the cart. And I think I'm going to move the cart back on the other side so I can grab for the subholes. One of the downfalls of working by yourself when you have big boxes like this. That shit was heavy. Alright, so now I'm going to start off probably some 80 grit. I have some on my sander. This is getting stained, so you want to make sure you sand it really good. Ricky Smith, what is up, man? Thank you so much for tuning in. All right, don't laugh at me too hard, guys. I just realized my mic was on the desk table this whole time. I didn't clip it on my damn shirt. All right, we're gonna restart this. So I don't know what you guys heard, what you didn't hear. Like I said, somehow forgot to clip my mic onto my shirt. It's really early in the morning, and I was like right in the middle of this box, and then I was trying to rush to get on stream. I was already late as is. Either way, welcome to episode 20 of In the Shop with CustomLowz live edition. Right now we're working on an enclosure for 2 DC audio level 6 18s. We just routed it. We're going to be sanding it, body filling it. Like I said, Troy, thank you so much for tuning in. And Ricky, thank you so much for tuning in. I don't know if you guys heard me at all because my mic was on the table. I don't know how I did that, but it's okay. That's what happens when you stream at 6:30 in the morning, just as you're getting into work. That's like filming a take and not pressing record on it or something, which I've definitely done before with doing like time-lapse things, or, you know, oh, you've heard a little bit. Okay, well, I guess my mic is pretty halfway decent. Yeah, geez. I'll edit that out later on when I'll just repost it. I'll edit that out. We'll forget about that, or maybe we'll leave it. That'll be part of the fun of it. It's like a little hidden gem that I forgot to put the mic on my shirt. People don't give these YouTubers enough credit, man. There's a lot of things to remember and get ready. All right, so like I said, well, maybe you heard me, maybe you didn't. This is getting a true black stain, so we're going to be sanding this up. Body filler, not body filler, definitely not body filler. For stain, wood filler. We're going to use wood filler. Do all the body work on it, get this thing ready for stain. I think we'll be able to bring you guys all the way through the process here. All right, so I'm going to get on my mask. Unfortunately, it's hard to talk through the mask if I can find the damn thing. It's somewhere around here. Everything's on the desk, man, I tell you what. We got the mask. I was actually able to find refill filters for this thing too after like months and months, dude. I swear. I thankfully bought a brand new, like the whole face mask part and new filters like right before COVID hit. I just needed it for the shop, and then I couldn't get filters after that. So now we got them, thankfully. So again, I'm going to start with 80 grit sandpaper. Then we're going to work our way down to 320. After the 80, I'm going to do the wood filler. And then also with the 80, I'm going to be doing some like final shaping and stuff like that. This background music is just not loud enough for me to hear. There we go. Thomas, what is up, man? Thank you for tuning in. All right. Whew. That was a whole lot of sanding. We're only 1/3 of the way through. That was with 80 grit. Now we got to jump to probably go 220. Nah, I might even go 120, then 220, then 320. So we got 4 more steps to do. That's okay. It'll make the stain look that much better. Ugh. All right, I'm gonna get my bay door open, get that exhaust fan running, and get some of this, get some of these damn fumes out of here. Or not fumes, just sawdust rather. .418 lighting. What is up, man? Thank you for tuning in. Lurch Khan, what is up? Thank you for tuning in. All right. I'm sure a lot of you guys are enjoying your Sundays sleeping in or just not having work. Although no complaints, I'm definitely enjoying my Sunday having work. It's great to be able to have work to do for sure, so no complaints here either. Alright, so before I go any further, I did notice a few of my brad nails I shot in with my nail gun didn't necessarily sink all the way, so I'm going to get my nail set and my hammer, go around and double, triple check everything. They're flush and smooth, just the thing is they'll kind of shine through the stain and the filler. So I'm going to take a little nail set. If you guys don't know what a nail set is, I guess I could attempt to show you. I don't have my forward-facing camera, so this is a nail set right here. They come in different sizes. They usually come in like a 3-pack or a 2-pack. You guys can get them Home Depot, Lowe's, Harbor Freight. I would imagine almost any woodworking shop has one of them, or a set of them rather. Anthony, what's up, man? All right, so even on the areas where I, routed, there's going to be some nail holes or some brad nails that are kind of shining through, and that's just because the router bit cut through them. So I'm even going to tap those in because you're better off to have a little spot of filler than have the nail kind of shining through the stain. And this is really something I've kind of just unfortunately adapted recently for whatever reason. I've used a nail set 100 times, you know, when I used to work in cabinetry doing crown molding. You know, sometimes you're pressing the nail gun on there so lightly to hold your piece in that it doesn't fully set. So you take your nail set, hammer it in the rest, or get it in the rest of the way. Or even when you're doing using a real hammer like finish nails, you're going to use your nail set to actually sink it below the surface, because if you're hammering, you can't obviously do that. So yeah, surprisingly, it just dawned on me very recently, unfortunately, that why the hell aren't you doing this step? So here I am. Sometimes you learn, well, you know what, you always learn new stuff as you go. It wasn't necessarily new, but it just never really dawned on me to use it on the box. Normally, you know, with the nail gun, you wouldn't have to do this process, but other than on the routed areas, but I have a real POS nail gun. It used to be really good, but after 5 or so years of use, it's like shooting nails half in sometimes, not sinking them all the way, and yeah, just time for a new one. But I'm a total cheapskate when it comes to buying stuff like that sometimes, especially if it's already working. My nail gun, you know, it's not really a cool tool to buy, so it's definitely not on my top priority list, but I need to get one soon. Now, I do also have one screw hole on the side of this box here. Normally with my stained enclosures, I would never have any screws on here. I did have, not an issue, but with the window bracing in there, I wasn't able to pull the enclosure quite square enough with just nails and clamps. Being on the bottom of the enclosure, I had a hard time, you know, really, first of all, even figuring out how to clamp that. So I did have to drive one screw in there, unfortunately. Thankfully, it's on the side, and with how big this enclosure is, I know the sides of this box are going to be like crammed up against the vehicle's wheel wells anyway, so we'll be good. You won't see it in the end, but, you know, little things. I'm definitely my own worst critic for sure. I'm just going around double, triple, quadruple checking. You're always probably going to miss one or two, especially when I put a lot of brad nails in this thing to make sure it held in place while the glue is drying. I actually don't see too many. Actually, I don't see any more yet. Probably speaking way too soon, though. I'll find one or two. I knew it. I knew I'd found one. And I'm just sinking them right below the surface, just enough for me to put a little wood filler in there and fill it. And the wood filler is stainable, so. Man, I guess I missed this whole corner right here. You know, right here where your panels meet up, you got to either nail it together or secure it together in some sort of way while your glue is drying if you want to get the enclosure done in any sort of reasonable amount of time. So when you are routering, you are unfortunately going to cut through nails. That is definitely the biggest reason I burn through some of my more popular router bits quickly, is because I just keep cutting through nails. And at this point, it just seems like it's part of the process. I'm used to it. And the bit will still last almost upwards of 6 months sometimes. If I'm aware that I'm going to be doing like a large, deep cut with my router bit, I'll try to maybe stay to the inside with any nails if I can. Obviously, this being single layer,
you don't really have that option, but it is a triple baffle. So what I did was I screwed down the first and second layers, glued and screwed down the first and second layers, and then on the top layer, the flush mount for the subs, I basically just put a whole bunch of glue. Brad nailed it in a few places on like the insides, and I was able on that area to stay away, far enough where I knew my router bit wasn't going to hit it. But you're definitely going to get those areas where you're just going to go through you're going to cut through some nails, man. Alright, so I think we're good. Now we're going to wood filler it. I know for sure my wood filler is going to be a little dry. This is a DAP plastic wood, stainable wood filler. I don't go with the pink stuff. Normally what I do is I get the natural color stuff. The pink stuff will dry natural color, they say, but I don't like it. I don't know. Personal preference. I don't like the pink. And nothing. It's the same stuff, but I don't like it. All right, so I'm pouring a little water in there to kind of rehydrate it. If you guys ever have any wood filler that's dried out, add water to it. It'll save it. There are some maybe oil-based wood putties that are already colored that, adding water might not be a good idea too, but I'm sure if you just read the cleaning instructions, usually on the cleaning instructions of any material to have what you can clean it with, and usually that's a good indication of if it's oil-based or water-based, what cleaner they recommend if it's not listed. Also too, it kind of gives you a good idea of what you can thin it out with. Obviously, you don't want to add too much water and have it too watery. Also, one thing I've noticed with the Baltic birches, when you do the wood filler, if it's too watery, it'll tend to seep into the, wherever it touches, it'll tend to seep into the grain really deeply, and then it'll actually, even after sanding, it'll still show, even with this stainable wood filler. So you really want to make sure you don't thin it out too much if you ever have to save old wood filler. Hopefully you don't have to do that though. Alright, I'm going to go through with my finger, just fill in every little nail hole, any small little pinhole voids that are in the plywood I'm going to fill now too, just because that will start looking kind of crappy when you put the stain and clear coat on. It'll look fine with the stain. As soon as you put the clear coat on, you're going to see all those little pinhole spots you missed because the clear coat's going to sink into it, and it's going to be undesirable. You're going to get an undesirable finish in the end. That's basically what I'm saying there. Oh, good thing I caught my phone was on low battery. Getting wood filler all over the tripod and my phone. That's okay. Trying to get some half decent angles for you guys. Keep it a little interesting for the 1 people that's watching. That's okay. Okay. Anthony Hernandez wanted to ask, what's the best way to calculate a slant, such as if my left-hand wall on enclosure needs to be 8 1/16 in the rear and 10 inches in the front? Okay, are you talking about calculating area If so, what I would normally do is just try to break down your shape in a few more simpler shapes to like calculate. So I would obviously break down a square. You know the figures for a square is length, width, and then you're going to times that by 1728, or divided by 1728 rather. If you're talking cubic feet, if you're trying to figure out like a single panel, you can just break it down in simpler shapes. Obviously, you know, triangles are easier to figure out, and squares are easier to figure out volumes of. For making a cut, how do you figure out, how do you calculate the slant? Okay, well, I would just take, if you have a piece, let's say your wall is, that piece needs to be 10 inches wide. So you're going to cut your piece to 10 inches wide and then measure up 8 1/16 on the rear and then 10 inches on the front. And then you can actually just mark a line right across, and that'll give you your angle. Yeah, end to end. Let me get my charger on the camera, and then I'll actually set up I can just kind of really explain it on any scrap piece in the shop almost, and you'll get what I'm talking about. Oh, I'm knocking everything down over here. And for some reason, I put the charger cube in my toolbox. I don't know why. "15" in length to be exact. Are you doing an underseat enclosure, I'm assuming? If that is, yeah, just cut your piece to that length, and then you're gonna, you know, on both ends, opposing ends, which is your front and your back, just measure the difference. Alright, so let me grab a scrap piece real quick. I could just show you, like I said, an example of it. Alright, so the scrap piece might be smaller than what you're talking about. So for argument's sake, I'm going to say my front height is 5 inches and my back height is 3 inches. So here's my piece. This will be like my final, you know, the whole piece. This is the front, this is the back, the full width that you need it. You're going to take, you know, if I said it was 5, you're going to measure up. Let's see if I can do this one-handed here. Maybe not. Okay, 5 on the front. I know you can't see me marking it out, but 3 on the back. So you got your front measurement, your back measurement, and then you're going to take a board, if you could see those two. Maybe. This camera sucks. Maybe you could see those. Okay, yeah, you can see those marks. Okay. Then you're just going to take a straight edge and mark from one point to the other, and that's your angle. Very simple. Hopefully I explained that halfway coherently. Mixed with the shoddy camera work, I hope it made sense to you. glad it helped. Not a problem, Anthony. For those of you just tuning in, we're working on an enclosure for 2 DC audio level 618s. Although I believe it's in the title, so hopefully you know that. We're doing the wood filler part right now. I'm doing the wood filler part. We already sanded it with 80 grit. Doing wood filler right now, filling all the little brad nail holes that we use to hold it together with the glue, or while the glue dries. And also they're in plywood, just the nature of it. There's little small pinholes here and there, so we're making sure we go through, fill all that stuff, because this enclosure is getting a true black stain finish in the end, so want to make sure the clear coat looks real nice and smooth. If you have any pinholes left behind, your clear coat is definitely going to seep right into it, and it's gonna look bad. It's gonna look bad. This definitely takes extra time, but it's time well spent for sure, because it just turns out so much better in the end. Even when the panels come together, you're gonna have ever so slight, small little hairline gap there. It's nothing that's gonna leak air, obviously, and you couldn't even get a sheet of paper in there, but when you go to spray this with clear coat after your stain, it's gonna soak right in that thing, and you're gonna be able to see it like a sore thumb the second your clear coat dries up. This is why it costs so much to get a stained enclosure. I get a lot of people even asking me to, do the enclosure bare wood, and then they'll stain it themselves. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to build it for you then, because, it's not only the clear coat and the stain that costs money, but this part right here where you're, really having to very diligently sand, make sure you got every last little bit of glue drip or a little glue smudge off of there, because obviously stain's not going to take to the glue. There's a ton of prep work just to get it right for stain. And you know, even if I'm sending it out bare wood, I don't want the customer to then stain it, because it's not going to look very good. Because like on a bare wood enclosure, whether you see it or not, there is some glue. Because even through the process of building it, if I know it's going to be bare wood, I know I can be a little more carefree with the way I wipe the glue, or maybe how much glue I put, and I can always take it off with sanding afterwards. But you know, even with the glue taken away, what you're not seeing is inside the grain, it's soaked that grain and basically made it waterproof, or stain-proof kind of, and it's just not going to take the color. The stain might lay over the glue, but it's just going to look blotchy. Not what you want. So if your builder is charging you a lot for stain, well, you know what? Since I'm just going to explain it for myself, because I don't know what everyone else charges, and I don't think a lot of people do this step I'm doing. This is the reason why stain costs what it costs, is just because it takes a lot of prep work, and you really can't. This thing's so heavy. You really can't slack on it either. You guys can like only see the top of my head right now, but that's okay. Maybe we'll move the camera a little bit. There we go. I think that's good. Okay, Anthony Hernandez, let's see. Do you buy your Baltic birch by the pallet? If so, what's the tag on one single sheet? Here in NorCal, it's hard to find Baltic birch anywhere. Yeah, dude, Baltic birch is becoming really hard to find for, I mean, I don't want to say everyone, but even in my area over here in Florida, so don't feel left out. I'm definitely having a hard time myself finding any sort of Baltic birch. The wood supplier, the only wood supplier that I found that's close enough to me to actually be willing to deliver for me for any sort of reasonable cost, they don't have it. Anyone else that's close to me doesn't even carry it at all. This place, they do carry it, but they've just had a hard time stocking it. And the price went from $40 to $116 a sheet. It is literally insane. I mean, people are complaining about gas. They're not thinking about us box builders paying 3x the cost on wood materials. It sucks. It's terrible. But hey, you know what? We'll continue with the times. We'll have to raise our prices in order to, you know, keep using this material. Sorry guys, I don't know what happened to the stream. I don't even know where I last left off. The camera was just totally dropped off. Anyway, yeah. Oh yeah, the birch at Home Depot is not true Baltic birch. I've heard people discuss it a lot. It's not true Baltic birch, but it is birch plywood. It has a birch veneer. I guess they're not lying to you, but you know, it's what this is right here is 13 ply Baltic birch. If you could see the ply count in it. Obviously, these are multiple pieces stacked together, so keep that in mind. But even around the window, you can see that it's a high ply count wood. It is 13 ply. You know, Baltic birch really refers to where the wood comes from, the Baltic regions. In the colder regions, the wood grows stronger, I guess, based off of the freezing of the veins within the tree itself, and I think it just compacts them denser. I might be completely talking out of my butt, but I'm pretty sure that's how it worked. I actually learned that from I think Paul Schmidt, who builds the skateboards. I'm former skateboarder. I guess I still try to, or would like to find time to, but he talked a lot about, because on skateboards they use Baltic birch as well for that specific reason, because in the colder regions it actually is the wood is stronger and denser. So what you're going to see at Home Depot, that's like an imported, probably like a Brazilian birch. It's not as dense because obviously Brazilian area, it's not going to get nearly as cold or even freeze over. So also too, the Baltic birch, the growth time on it is a lot longer. I feel like we've covered this a lot, but it's like such a big deal for anyone who DIYs or even builders that I feel like it's okay to talk about it a couple more times. If you guys are watching this video, make sure you like this video right now. Drop a comment in chat. Let me know you're here. Thomas Hood, I'm not sure if you heard what I said about your order. If you placed it on the site, buddy, I know I definitely got it. I believe I seen your order come through. I don't do a ton of the office work anymore, so I'll have to check that out. But for sure, I believe I got your order. It doesn't take that long to build. It's just the wait time. I got a lot of customers, so be patient, but it will get to you, and it'll be the best box you have ever owned. Not a problem, Anthony. Hopefully that kind of helps explain things. Yeah, there's just so many different types of woods. It's pretty insane. But the supply channel on the Baltic birch has definitely been interrupted by something. I have also heard rumors that, you know, in order to actually keep a actual maintained supply of wood coming in for usage, you have to grow on a certain schedule. Heard there was some sort of political or economical issues in that area, like one grow season, and maybe it didn't happen. And you know, this was years and years ago, but you know, you're just now seeing the effects from it now, because you know, if a tree takes 10 years to grow per se, and I don't know exactly how long Baltic birch trees take to grow to become harvestable, but if it takes that long to grow, you better have pre-planted yourself some 10 years, 11 years, 12 years prior, because you want to be able to yield material out of it every year. Obviously, you got to plan ahead. So that is what my wood distributor kind of told me. Thank you so much, Thomas Hood. I appreciate that. All right, we're going to finish wood filling this bad boy. Now, I know I did mention, like, if the enclosure is getting bare wood, I will kind of change my process. I do still fill it to this extent. You don't want to have it looking bad, so I definitely still fill all the nail holes, like on the low fabs, Thomas Hood, like something that you ordered. You know, everything is still fully filled. You're not going to have any sort of little gaps, cracks, nothing like that anywhere. Not that there is many, But I mean, maybe I can get the camera in here to show you guys what I'm filling or what type of stuff I'm filling. Okay, so if it even focuses is on it. Okay, so you see that small little hairline gap right there. Now, the ply is stuck together good and it's screwed down even, but you're going to get small areas like that, even between the layers. Not so much between layers, but you can see that little fine gap right there, right there. Yeah, okay, you see that gap? When you go to clear coat that, even with how small it is, your clear coat's going to soak right into it. So I definitely will wood fill even stuff like that. So kind of give you guys a understanding of maybe what the level of not accuracy, complete. You know what? It's how much I do. I can't think of a good word for it right now. Using my back-facing camera, I can't see what I'm actually shooting at, but it's a lot higher quality, so we're good now. Oh, I see a nail I forgot. gonna go lay in my jacket. I can't set that thing down without him wanting to lay in it. Oh, left it alone. All right, well, looks like we got everything on the sides. Now, gonna do the top. Let's make this thing taller. Yeah, Anthony, there's a lot of detail that goes into these things for sure. Hopefully with these videos it'll inform the end user a little more, but we'll see. They gotta watch these videos, that is, to actually know what's going on in them. But yeah, definitely a lot of work going on in this thing. Control Jones, 01 Yukon, I would love to have you make a box for 2 Def Bounce 305, 3015 15s, 1 ohm subs. Unfortunately right now I have actually put a long pause / stop to taking on orders of that nature. Even what you see like in the video right now, this is an example of something I won't be doing for quite a long time. Taking a different direction with stuff. Yeah, these projects like this are really great, but they take a long time to complete. And when you have, 20 customers in the mix, and you got to keep the people happy. So we're going to do what it takes to change up. I'm going to do what it takes, rather. So unfortunately, I can't really help you with that. If you want, I can do a custom design for you, and you can DIY something yourself. My designs come with like a 3D rendering, multiple angles of a 3D rendering, whole cut list, which explains all the parts and pieces you need to cut for the enclosure. And even in the 3D rendering, I have it all kind of scaled out so you can get an idea of what pieces go where. If you have any sort of knowledge or tools, it should be easy for you to do. Nine out of 10 people probably wouldn't go this far into detail when building a box, but I like to go the extra mile when I can, which is, I kind of forced the fact, so I almost always do it. You know what? Let's change that to like always. I'm not putting out an enclosure that I think I could have done better on. Let's just say it that way. So we only have a few brad nails on the top to fill, thankfully, because the filler is looking low, guys. This is just enough to complete this project. Gotta love when stuff like that works out like that, because it sucks when you don't have enough. And too often are you taking Home Depot trips and with jobs like this, or custom jobs, So you'll get that last minute thing that you thought you had enough of, but then turns out you don't. I think I do have a small thing of the pink stuff too, but I'm going to try to avoid that. Really where you're going to burn through a lot of wood filler is just the end grain of everything, making sure it's, you know, there's no little small voids or pinholes, because in order to do that you kind of have to put a glob on your finger and kind of just brush over it and push it all into the little spots you need. Not the most economical way, but it's really how you got to get it done. Alright, I think we got everything. I'm just going to go through and triple check it. Always finding little areas that I could use a little touch up on. I really don't want to have to go back a second time with any wood filler, so I'm trying to make sure I really get everything now that I can. And we are like bone dry here on filler. We're going to make it though. We got just enough. Just the nail hole there. Colby, what's up, man? Thank you for tuning in. How is it going? We're scraping this bad boy bone dry. We got every last bit of filler out of this can for sure. Hey, I guess at least we're not being wasteful. It's one thing I think a lot about, you know, being that I build products for a living, is like my impact on, you know, the earth in a way or whatever. Not that I'm super like conscious of that. I'm not like woke or anything, but I do think about the fact that a lot of the things I do, like sanding Bondo, like where does all that sand, that sawdust go, or like dust go when you sand it? Especially when you're just like, you know, using a fan to vent out. Like most shops, you know, you have a big fan like venting out. You know, all those, even, you know, resin chemicals. What does that do? Even most of this wood filler, I'm going to sand off of here, and it's just going to turn into dust. Where does all this dust go? Where does it go? I mean, I know I vacuum up most of it, and throw it in the trash, but where's the other stuff that's just floating in the air? Where does that all land afterwards? Okay, let's see. At this point, I'm just nitpicking, but hey, it'll look good in the end. All right, and I'd say we have just about none of that left. CRX okay, what's up? Colby, coffee and Krispy Kreme donuts for breakfast, watching the Crusher crush it. Thank you so much for tuning in, buddy. I appreciate it. Krispy Kreme donuts do sound pretty good right now. I woke up at like 4, and I'm not too much of a... I don't like to eat as soon as I wake up. So, I haven't eaten breakfast yet, but in an hour or so I'll eat breakfast. Alright, we're going to have to wait a small amount of time for that stuff to dry. If you sand too soon, you're going to knock a lot of it out of those fine little pinholes and areas. Then you're just going to be going back over it again. So, as you can see, there's a lot of wood filler on there. If you guys are just tuning in, as you can see, the title says we're working on an enclosure for 2 DC audio level 6 18s. It's got 3 adjustable aero ports. We're putting here 8-inch aero ports. This thing is going to be tuned to, where are we at? Let's get the paperwork. 32 hertz. It's got 13.6 cubic feet after all displacement is considered, including ports, subs, and all that bracing we got in there. We did have some tight constraints with sizes. Actually, you know what? I think I mislabeled this video, damn it. It's level 5 18s. Yep, level 5 18s. I stand corrected. I was wrong. Sean Barlow, what is up, man? Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. I appreciate that. We're giving it a bit of dry time. Yeah, I don't have any Krispy Kremes around here either, man. I definitely miss going there. In Vegas, where I'm from, I There was a few of them, and that was like when I was young, like a treat to have. But yeah, I haven't had them fresh in, dude, I don't even, 15 years probably. I can only vaguely remember what a fresh Krispy Kreme donut tastes like. Only vaguely. There's a few foods that, you know, I remembered eating from way back, and then you have them again, and you're like, sometimes you're like, oh, these are better than I remember. But then a lot more times it's like, this is not nearly as good as I had in my memory. I can't even remember what I last ate. You know, I'm even thinking, strangely enough, like peas. As a kid, I loved peas. Now, I don't like them at all. There ain't nothing I like about peas. Every other vegetable out there, though, I am a fan of, but can't get them. Can't do nothing with them peas, you know. I don't know why we're talking about this on a car audio show, but we're getting off topic here. If you guys have any bass-related questions, car audio-related questions, let me know in the comments below, or if you're just tuning in, let me know as well. Waiting on this wood filler to dry a little bit. We're going to give it, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. Just get dry enough to be able to sand it and not knock out everything. Kobe, you still love peas? Yeah, I don't know, man. They're just so, like, they're the only vegetable I find to have, they're just bland. They just taste like mush, nothing. CRX Ugly Kid, was the bracing of the enclosure included in the calculation of the box build to still have at 32 hertz? Yeah, I considered everything involved. The good thing about Google SketchUp, it kind of gives you an easy way to draw out the bracing and exactly calculate how much space it takes by just clicking on the face of the brake, like the piece you made, and it'll actually tell you exactly how many square inches the space is, and you can figure out from there the volume displacement of your brace. So yes, everything was considered, all involved, 32 hertz tuning, and that's why we ended up at 13.61 cubic feet of volume in the enclosure. Yeah, you got to include the brace, especially when it's this much bracing. If you were only going to maybe throw some really small 45s in the corner, I'd say that's pretty negligible, and you probably don't have to, well, if you want to be exact, you have to consider it, but you could add them, and it wouldn't really throw too many things off. It would maybe at best take an eighth of a cube, maybe even smaller than that, so something like that's not going to be a big worry in my opinion. But when you're adding this many window braces, you definitely have to make sure you consider all of that into your calculations. And bring the camera, while we're waiting on the drying, you guys can stare at the inside of this bracing. It looks really cool. Let's see if I can get a good angle of this. Yeah, if you didn't know this was a subwoofer box, you'd almost think this is the inside of something else. Yeah, the box is definitely big. The outside dimensions on this thing are 48 wide, 22 high, and 32 deep. Something like this is only going to fit in the bigger SUVs, Tahoes, let's see what else, Denali's, Yukons. This is actually a 2001 Yukon this is going in, so those have the 48 inches between the wheel wells. Yeah, this bracing actually turned out really nicely. My one regret on these is I didn't, have the foresight to really realize that the ports itself were going to interfere with the bottom of the brace. If I did, I would have actually pre-cut that. So it's a little bit lopsy-turvy there, but your brace are going to be sitting on top of it, and you're not ever going to see it. Doesn't really matter, but I do care about that. Those little details in that. The only thing I can say I am not thrilled about with this enclosure is maybe that, but at this point, you ain't changing it, so it still looks good. I love the way the light shines through the port or the sub holes too. It just looks so cool in there. We're waiting on wood filler to dry, so if you guys have any audio related questions or you're just tuning in, drop a comment below. Let me know you're here. If you're watching this after it's been posted live stream, still drop a comment and let me know you're here and watching. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so now. I'm sure most of you guys, if not all of you guys watching, are subscribed. It's an early Sunday morning. I'm sure most of the people are enjoying their sleeping in on Sunday. I like to get up extra early on Sundays just for that specific reason, because the normal people, they sleep in on Sundays and get their rest. But me, I like to go in a little earlier on Sundays. Is that custom, or will you build more than just one? No, this is custom. One of one. I'll never do one exactly like this again. That is, for the most part, how I keep almost everything I do. The underseats, there's only so many shapes, like so many shapes you can go with for windows. So with like the underseats, those will start to kind of look a little bit similar after I've done so many. But with these boxes right here, these are one of ones. You ain't never gonna see it again. Scraping Base, what's up, man? Thank you for tuning in. We got the time change today, daylight savings. So do we go up an hour, down an hour? Did we lose? Did we gain? I never really know. I went to sleep early specifically so I can get enough sleep to wake up early. So I don't really know when the time change happened. Why do they change the times anyway? It just makes no sense to me. I know they explained it to me in school, but it's been a little longer than I'd like to admit since I've been in school. Well, not that long. Only 10 years. That's kind of a long time, I suppose. I'm not liking all this getting old stuff. And I'm only 28, so I'm not even close to old yet, but I don't like getting older. I don't know how you guys feel about it. We're going to give the wood filler a little bit longer to dry. You really don't want to, especially with the fact that I just used about every last bit of wood filler I had. You don't want to sand too soon because you're going to start knocking the wood filler out of the little holes you had in there. So we're going to wait a little while longer. For now, you guys can stare at the inside of this beautiful enclosure. It had to do with the old farmer's planting season. Oh, that's kind of crazy. Now I know something new. Or you've re-taught me something I knew and definitely forgot. Made the most use of the sunlight. That definitely makes sense. I like to try to get into the shop before the sun ever comes up for sure. If you guys want to help support the channel, you can go to the website, go order some t-shirts or keychains, or you can order a custom underseat enclosure or some subwoofer box designs. Build your own sub box using my design. I've probably nearly 100 designs available on the website to go check out, so You guys should definitely go check that out. Scraping base, it changed last night. Went from 2 a.m. back to 1 a.m. So we gained an hour. Nice. And that's why I felt extra rested. Did also go to sleep a little early, but I think maybe that's also why I felt a little extra rested. Scraping base, do you have a crimper for big gauge wire? Yeah, I have a hydraulic crimper actually. I ordered it off of eBay, like way back in the day. Actually pretty nice. One thing I don't like about it is it kind of started to hydraulic fluid, but that's really after years of use and hundreds and hundreds of loads. So. I can't remember what I paid for it. It was shockingly cheap. Maybe $30 or something like that. It definitely probably went up since then, but yeah, that's why I use it. It has a bunch of different dies with it, so you can change the sizes. They build with 2 welding gloves, so and a little bigger than that even. I think you can even crimp 2-gauge sky high with it. It does have some really big stuff, so I imagine there's not much that you can not crimp with it. Small stuff definitely it doesn't do as well on small stuff. The dies, I would say even 8-gauge I might not crimp with that thing. I'd probably crimp with the normal crimper on 8-gauge lugs. They might have a new one that has smaller dies though. Scraping base, that's the one I'm looking at getting on Amazon. Yeah, I would say go ahead, man. I've had it for a very long time, and it just only recently started leaking the hydraulic fluid on me. Like I said, that's after hundreds and hundreds of lugs, and I've loaned it out quite a few times. I really personally think it was probably during a loan out that things started acting up. People, like, you know, when you're compressing it together, you're basically looking for the dies to start touching, and for whatever reason, like anyone I've ever handed this thing, they like to think that they can just it's like squeeze until I can no longer squeeze it, but really what you're doing is just adding on needed pressure for no reason. Once the dies touch together, you're never going to get your lug crimped any tighter. So I don't know, it's just, I guess it's a habit that most people have for some reason. I would get it. I have no problems with it, and I do believe that was the issue. I need to stop taking this damn mic off of my shirt. I just realized I took it off and set it on the desk again. Hopefully you guys heard my my crimper rant. Scraping base, like I said, get the crimper. It's a good crimper. I've only had a very few issues with it, but I think it had to do with the fact that I've loaned it out to a lot of people to use. So for some reason, people don't want to buy a $40 tool themselves. Although I guess if you're like an average DIY guy and you probably ain't gonna want to, you don't want to buy specialized tools all that often, because really they're gonna get used once at best, and then you're gonna sit and collect dust forever. So, oh sweet, this mic I guess is better than I thought it was. I was like, I mean, at times I was 10, 15 feet away from this thing, so I'm amazed that I can actually catch up with my voice that far away. Not bad for a 15 some odd dollar mic. I actually have the mic volume turned down significantly because that was something I realized that it really catches. Like, it amplifies your voice quite a bit, so. Alright, I think this wood filler, I think it's dry enough. Alright, so we're going to get some more sandpaper out. Let's see. And we're going to go with some 120. Then we're going to step it down to 220. And then go to 320. If I can find my damn sander. Put it in the basket. I'm using an orbital sander to do this, and I am using Diablo sandpaper. You can get it at Home Depot. I already sanded it with 80 grit. That was to get, the bulk of the sanding, kind of refine my shapes a little bit. Now I'm going to step it down to 120 grit sandpaper. We're going to take it down to 220 and then 320 because we're going to be sanding this thing. I'm going to get my mask on, so I won't be talking too much while I sand, but I'll be protected from all this dust. For you guys doing this at home, DIYing, I definitely always recommend wearing a mask. You might see me not wearing one once in a while, but don't follow my stupidity. Just wear the mask all the time. Just the dust is not good. Anything we're doing. I mean, I see people do like fiberglass doors without a mask on, or fiberglass work, and I'm like, you are insane. If you've seen, if you had good light in your shop, you'd see the flecks floating in the air, and like, it's not good. So wear a mask.